Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Module 1 overview episode of Educational Assessment. I am your host, Professor DeNobile, and the purpose of this video is to do a quick overview of what you will expect in Module 1. Module 1 will take you almost a full 4 weeks to go through, so don't worry that you're seeing a lot of sub-modules within this module, subtopics within the module. You're not doing it all in 1 week. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what to expect. If this is our home screen and we click on the modules, you can click it here where it says modules or down here on the welcome screen. So we're going to go to the modules. So Module 1 is our introduction to assessment. Some of the questions we're going to be exploring in this module are: what is assessment? How has assessment evolved over the years? What is an assessment framework teachers can use today? And why does assessment look the way it does today? I gave you a little calendar of what to look for, and I've labeled each part of the topics within the module so you know how it's going to look. So week 1 is going to be this first week, January 17th to the 22nd. Week 2 will run January 24th to the 29th. Week 3, January 30th to February 5th. And week 4 is February 6th through the 12th. So as you can see, you are currently watching the Module 1 introduction here in week 1. Topic 1.1, Introduction to Assessment for Learning, is going to be this first week's topic. Topic 1.2 is the History of Assessment, which will be January 24th to the 29th. Topic 1.3, High Stakes and Standardized Testing, will be January 30th to February 5th. Backwards design will be our topic for February 6th through the 12th. And then you have your assessments for this module, both of which are due on February 12th. You will have the summative reflection discussion for module 1 due on February 12th. And if I'm not mistaken, you probably have your initial post due on the Thursday of that week before Sunday, February 12th, for your responses. And then your summative test for Module 1 is going to be due on February 12th. So I'm going to just briefly click through these just so that you know what you're looking at, so you're familiar with the structure. All of the modules are set up this way. We have some objectives that are always there at the top. You will notice 3 sub-tabs within each topic. Again, I want to thank Dr. Schroer for allowing me access to the structure of his Canvas, because I think this is very clean and very easy to follow. So the first tab will always be readings. For this one, vocabulary is very important, especially when we're dealing with assessment. So this first unit, this first topic, I should say, is very vocab dense, vocab heavy. This vocab comes from your readings. So make sure for this week that you're reading introduction pages 25 to 35. That's the Roman numeral for the introductory pages. And then chapter 1, which is pages 1 through 11. You're then going to go to the lectures. As of right now, this is you don't even have access to it, as I am recording this on January 11th. It's Dr. Schroer's lectures right now, which I'm going to mimic and record my own. So by the time you see them, you should see my lectures instead of Dr. Schroer's. So your lectures are going to be on this tab, and then you're going to have your activities on the last tab, Each module, again, each topic, I should say, within each module is set up this way. You're doing vocabulary squares for this first week. Pretty light, pretty straightforward. And then on the bottom, you'll have these tips for success to give you little words of encouragement of how to get through that topic for the week. Vocab squares is pretty straightforward. You're basically going to do a mini vocab assignment. So it's pretty much fill in the blanks. It's pretty straightforward in the directions. Again, if you have any questions, hit me up on GroupMe, email me, and I'll get back to you. So that was topic 1 for module 1. I'm going to bring you now topic 1.2, which is the second week of the course. History of assessment. Always got to dig into the history to figure out how we got where we are today. So we're going to look back at the common school movement, which is also like the public school movement, looking at Horace Mann, who was the leader of that movement, and how assessment built its way up into modern education and how we know of it today. You're not reading from the textbook for week 2. This is the textbook. You're not reading from the textbook week 2. You're reading from this PDF. You could read it right on the screen. This particular one is 31 pages, and you're going to be reading this this whole packet for week 2. You're reading this chapter 4, a history of educational testing, in here. And again, what does it say here? Pay attention to connections between the world events, and the advent of assessment pieces. Don't worry about specific dates. This isn't a history class, and I'm not going to be testing you on dates. So don't worry about the big concepts. That's really what's most important. Again, you're going to see the lectures here, and then you're going to see your activity is going to be the history of assessment timeline, which will be based off of the lecture portion. So what I would be sure of is when you're doing this particular assignment that I would read the assignment before you do the lecture. And then I would set up however document you're going to use for this particular activity. And then I would go back to the lecture for this activity, and I would fill out your document as you're doing it. You're going to be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Not literally. We're not doing anything violent in this course. Just an expression. All right. So that was lesson topic 1.2, history of assessment, which will then bring us into high stakes and standardized tests, which, as you can see, will be January 30th to February 5th. Always a great topic, always controversial. It seems like people either love them or hate them. I got my own personal opinions on them. Maybe I'll share them after you do this particular lesson of how I feel about high stakes testing. But we're going to be getting into a little bit of, because remember, high stakes testing is either norm referenced or criterion referenced, as we get from the vocabulary from the first topic. So there's a little bit of statistics involved, but again, this isn't a math course. So don't worry about, it's not about calculating the statistics. It's about reading them. What do the results mean once you get them? So there is no textbook reading for this week. Week 3, for week 3. This is the 3rd week. But there is a PDF reading. You're not reading the whole thing. You're only reading up to 188. and then be mindful of the figure on page 186. When they get to multiple choice, stop. It's not too relevant to what we're doing for this week. Then you're going to have my lectures, and then we're going to have a debate. I just want to say, when it comes to anything related to debates in an academic setting, we're not looking for feelings and opinions. You have to back them up with research. So, as always, as with any discussions that we may have, you're going to defend your side, but make sure that it's not like you're not posting, standardized tests are stupid and they're bad. Not that I don't think any of you would actually do that, but the whole point is you're going to make declarative statements, and you're going to support those declarative statements with sources to back up your opinions in that case. And again, all of the directions are on the activities page for you to look at. And then the last activity for that week is for you to research a standardized test. Again, all the directions are right there, which will then bring us into, I would say, in terms of an introduction to assessment, this is probably one of the most important topics for us to understand as 21st century educators, because backwards designed, also known as UBD, which is understanding by design, is the foremost structure for developing curriculum. And so when you get here, pay very close attention to the stages of backwards design and how it works. You will better understand why assessment is important when you get here. As the name implies, backwards design means you design curriculum backwards. Some people say, well, isn't that putting the cart before the horse? No. Backwards design is understanding that the assessment is planned first. Then you work backwards to get to your starting point. And to better understand this, is just a quick overview for backwards design. It's like planning a trip. You choose your destination, and then you have to backwards plan to get to the point where it's like, okay, if I want to go to Miami, Florida, I have to figure out how am I going to get there? Where am I going to stay? That's the first thing I'm going to have to figure out. Where am I going to stay? And then what things do I want to do while I'm there? And like, you work your way backwards. Maybe, again, it's like, I want to go to Miami, Florida. What do I want to do there? Because depending on the places that I want to go to is going to determine my options for hotels. And then that may also determine the transportation. Do I want to take a road trip there, or do I want to fly down there? And then it's working your way to the beginning. And why this is important is that when we're structuring curriculum, we're not only covering content, it's also understanding that there are time constraints. So you have to know where you're ending, because if you start at the beginning and you just start going out, you're never going to get to the destination. So that's why UBD is very important. There's no Butler McMahon reading for that particular week, but there is the PDF. Pay attention to the examples. Supplemental reading is the UBD website. Information on it is worth reading. The video is horrible, so just skip over it. Then you'll have the lectures. This particular week, this is just a nice little video. So you're not going to see me and my beautiful face. You're going to see the video for UBD, and then you're going to do a backwards design practice where you're going to get a a unit from that's already been planned. So whether it's a unit that you've done or another teacher has done, you're going to then basically assess the UBD template. How well was it followed? You just have like reflection questions to follow. And then I'll go further in depth in all of these as we go through the individual modules. You'll have your summative reflection due that second week in February. It's 150 to 300 words. Initial post on Thursday. Respond to 2 of your peers by that Sunday, which is the 12th. And then your summative test is going to be multiple choice question, select response items, and then 2 constructed response items. You'll have 35 minutes to complete the test. Pretty straightforward, pretty short. And that is module 1, an introduction to assessment. So let's hit the ground running this week, and I'll see you on GroupMe. Talk to you soon.